Marcie Michelle Free, born Mark Edward Free on April 12, 1954, in Flint, Michigan, was a rare voice that could pierce through walls of guitars and echo straight into the heart. She was more than just the lead singer of King Kobra, Signal, and Unruly Child. She was a symbol of raw emotion, inner courage, and the ultimate journey of self-discovery. Her story is one that begins in the flashing lights of rock and ends in a legacy of authenticity and grace, one that fans will never forget. Marcie began her musical journey at just 19 years old, performing in smoky bars around Michigan. Her voice, soulful and powerful, was impossible to ignore. By 1975, she packed her dreams and moved to Las Vegas, chasing opportunity, and later settled in Los Angeles in 1979. A city where dreams were loud and heartbreak was louder. There, fate led her to cross paths with Carmine Appice, the legendary drummer known for his work with Ozzy Osbourne. Appice saw in Marcie what few others did, not just a singer, but a powerhouse ready to explode onto the rock scene. Together, they formed King Kobra in 1983, a project that was supposed to showcase Appice but quickly became a showcase for Marcie's incredible range. The band got signed by Capitol Records, and with albums like Ready to Strike and Thrill of a Lifetime, Marcie's voice roared through radios and concert halls, earning her a loyal following. But in 1986, after 2 fiery years, she left the group, determined to find a sound and identity that were entirely her own. Her next stop was Signal, a band born from producer Peter McKeon's project The Fugitive Kind. Marcie joined forces with musicians Eric Scott, Mark Baker, and Jan Uvina. When EMI Records took interest, the group was renamed Signal, though Marcie had suggested a name that would resurface later, Unruly Child. Their 1989 album Loud and Clear had a crisp, melodic sound and showcased Marcie's soaring vocals, but corporate decisions cut the band's life short. EMI dropped them before they could fly, leaving Marcie to pick up the pieces once again. But rock and roll isn't just about survival. It's about reinvention. In 1990, Marcie found her truest artistic home when she formed Unruly Child with guitarist Bruce Gowdy and keyboardist Guy Allison. Their self-titled debut in 1992 became a cult classic, loved by fans of melodic hard rock for its emotion and craftsmanship. Around the same time, Marcie's voice reached the big screen when she sang, To Be, the best of the best for the action film Best of the Best 2. A song that perfectly captured her spirit. In 1993, Marcie's solo album Long Way from Love hit the airwaves, featuring songs she had recorded for songwriters Juditha and Robin Randall. Fans fell in love with her voice all over again, and she performed in Manchester for The Gods of AOR, an event that celebrated the golden age of melodic rock. Her follow-up release, Tormented, 1995, drew from the pain and hope of an artist searching for identity in both her music and her life. But behind the spotlight, Marcie was fighting a deeper battle, one not against critics or contracts, but against herself. Born Mark Free, she lived with gender dysphoria for most of her life. In November 1993, she made one of the bravest decisions any artist could make. She came out as a transgender woman, becoming Marcie Michelle Free. She said later that the decision was one between life and death, confessing that had she stayed as Mark, I would have died for sure. Her transition came at a heavy price. The same music industry that had once cheered her talent suddenly turned its back. Offers dried up, friends disappeared, and her once bright career dimmed. Yet Marcie never lost her voice, or her faith. Between gigs, she worked as a courier in Los Angeles, living quietly while waiting for the world to catch up to her truth. Eventually, she moved back to Michigan in 1995 to reconnect with family and live a life of peace away from the stage. Marcie struggled with alcoholism during those years, but she overcame it around 2008, crediting her sobriety to a close personal relationship with God. Her strength and faith became her foundation, guiding her through both pain and redemption. In a beautiful twist of fate, 2009 brought her back to where her heart had always belonged, Unruly Child. Together with Gowdy and Allison, Marcie returned to the studio and released Worlds Collide in 2010 under Frontiers Records. It was like a phoenix rising. The same voice that had shaken the 1980s came roaring back, full of wisdom and warmth. The group continued their creative journey, releasing Down the Rabbit Hole in 2014 and keeping their devoted fanbase alive. Marcie's artistry was shaped by legends. She idolized Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, and often thanked her in album liner notes for inspiring her to sing with passion and truth. Her musical palette was rich. The Beatles, the Beach Boys, Grand Funk Railroad, Smokey Robinson, Led Zeppelin, all of them echo in her performances, blending soul and rock in ways only she could. In her personal life, Marcie once found love with Laurie Richardson, whom she married on June 24, 1989. Though their marriage ended in divorce, she always spoke of her past with gratitude and reflection. Marcie Michelle passed away in October 2025 at the age of 71, leaving behind a legacy that transcends music and identity. She was a trailblazer, one of the first openly transgender women in rock, and her courage opened doors for countless others. Her songs remain a reminder that every note we sing, every truth we live, matters. From the stages of Los Angeles to quiet nights in Michigan, from King Kobra to Unruly Child, from Mark to Marcie, her story is one of transformation, survival, and art that defied every label. So as you listen to her timeless voice, remember the woman who lived fearlessly, loved deeply, and sang like her soul was on fire. If Marcie's story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because her voice deserves to keep echoing in the hearts of dreamers everywhere.